It's been called the Gestapo of China. The 610 office is one of the Chinese regime's most notorious agencies. It's tasked with cracking down on dissidents and religious minorities. It was supposedly disbanded 2 years ago, but internal documents indicate its functions are still being actively carried out, only under a different name.
The Chinese regime established the 610 office on June 10, 1999, 21 years ago. A Chinese human rights lawyer has compared it to Hitler's Gestapo. Although it's little known outside China, it is extremely powerful. The Chinese regime set up this extra-legal organization in 1999 to persecute the spiritual practice Falun Gong. It later expanded to also targeting people who believed in other so-called unapproved spiritual practices, like house church Christians and Buddhists, as well as human rights lawyers. The 610 office operates at every level of Chinese society. It reported directly to the top Chinese Communist Party leader at the time, Jiang Zemin. On the surface, the CCP says this organization no longer exists. Current communist leader Xi Jinping gradually weakened and eventually disbanded the office through structural reforms after he took power in 2012. But an internal document recently obtained by NTD's sister media, the Epoch Times, presents a different reality. The 610 office may have just changed the name due to pressure from international human rights groups and may be operating under a different group called the Anti-Heretical Religion Guidance Branch. Beijing's Fangshan district issued a report from the agency in 2019. It shows the agency giving scores on how well 93 different Communist Party and government institutions are implementing the CCP's anti-religious policies, things like whether they successfully prevented religious gatherings, or if they have successfully transformed and educated religious believers to renounce their faith. The agencies being assessed range across all sectors of the government, from the powerful Political and Legal Affairs Commission, PLAC, to the Organization Department, which is in charge of assigning officials posts and promotions, to local police bureaus, local prosecutors' offices, and courts, among others. Some seem completely unrelated to religious affairs, like the local tax bureau, the Meteorological Administration, the Earthquake Administration, the Red Cross, and the Urban Greening Bureau. The report shows none of these agencies escapes the scrutiny of the de facto 610 office. The Urban Greening Bureau, for example, was scored down for not having enough people taking a so-called anti-cult quiz. The quiz asks people what to do when they spot a religious gathering, and the right answer is to report it to the Chinese police. Another document from 2018 shows the agency is even involved in foreign affairs. At that time, the Fangshan District 610 office paid for Communist Party officials to visit Canada. They carried out a campaign against heretical religions in Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. The so-called overseas struggle activities in Canada focused on promoting hatred of Falun Gong. The Communist Agency held anti-cult symposiums and paid local Chinese language media to run propaganda against the practice. According to Minghui.org, a website that documents the CCP's persecution of Falun Gong, over 4,000 Falun Gong adherents in China have been killed due to the persecution.